My dad has always told me that I will never truly understand myself until I understand my grandparents. Their stories and where they came from are as much a part of who I am as anything that I experienced or learned in my lifetime. This could not be more evident than in my dad's mother, my Grammy. My family often tells me that we are more alike than different, and I couldn't agree more. I get my affinity for music, ridiculous sense of humor, boldness, stubborn mind, soft heart, and poetic soul from her. She passed them down to my dad, and he in turn contributed them to me. Who she is has in many ways both determined and shaped who I am and who I will become. Her history is as much a part of my own as anything I've ever accomplished. When I asked my Grammy what the two most significant events in her life were, she immediately mentioned her 3 wonderful children and 7 beautiful grandchildren, but then decided to reach farther back in her story to a move that changed her life. After she married my papa, Grammy found herself living in California and absolutely hating it. She was raised in a small town and missed it more than anything. Papa went to Riverton, Wyoming to interview for a job. When he sent news that he had got the position, he also reassured Grammy that she would love her new home. She asked him, "Well, what's in Riverton anyway?" To which he replied, "Nothing." They moved there shortly afterward and bought the house where they raised their babies. Whatever I hated about California, my Grammy says, sure isn't in Riverton. Even though she had a broken family and a tough start to life, she instilled family values and a strong sense of community in her children by raising them in a small town. And although I live in a bigger city, I share these values because my dad shared them with his children. For the other most influential event in her life, she reached even farther back into her childhood. Through a set of tragic and complex circumstances, when she was 4 years old, my Grammy's older sisters were sent away, one to a reform school and one to an orphanage. When I asked her about the story, she read me this poem she wrote, titled Annie.
Annie. She walked in, packed up her clothes, took some of these, left some of those. A long black car parked just outside, took my sister on an orphanage ride. She was 9 years old that day, and Mama cried when Annie went away. Mama wept for a good long while, then dried her eyes and forced a smile. No more time for wasted tears. Nobody listens, nobody hears. That's what I heard my mother say, but Mama cried when Annie went away. That great big bed we had to share was overcrowded, no room to spare. Sometimes her side, more often than not, would awaken us with a large wet spot. I really wanted her to stay, and Mama cried when Annie went away. Did Mama cry for her other child, 13 years old and running wild? The one who went to the girls' reform school, pretending not to care, trying to act cool. How could I know, how could I say, but Mama cried when Annie went away. No letter writing, no souvenirs, no correspondence for 5 long years. And then a visit home was planned. She walked down the street, took hold of my hand. "Are you my sister?" I managed to say, and Mama cried when Annie came to stay.
Her talent as a poetess has come to me through my dad and his talent and love for English. Grammy and I are alike in so many ways, and who she is an integral part of who I am and who I want to be. It's important for me to understand her story because, really, it's just the beginning of my own.